August 16th, 2019. Welcome to Egret Isle Farm, the Serene Disciple Project. And welcome to the porch. It's a warm summer morning and the sunrise was beautiful here this morning. Kay and I sat together and drank coffee and talked this morning, and that's what we're going to do today. Not an action-oriented video. Maybe I'll do something dramatic and action-oriented next time, but today I'm just going to sit here and talk as if you were there in the next seat. Drink some coffee. This is the last of the 4 places or spaces videos that I began to introduce several months ago in a video called Beginning with a Story. Now I would suggest if you haven't watched that video, that you stop this video now and go and watch that video. I think it'll make everything make a lot more sense. And the rest of us will wait. We'll just sit here and chat amongst ourselves while you catch up. But you can go ahead. Welcome back. To review briefly, in the aftermath of a midlife crash and burn, as the smoldering pieces were still falling around me, I found 4 places or spaces that were life to me. The deck representing personal devotion, the shop representing creative work, the kitchen representing radical hospitality, and the porch, where we are today, representing generous spiritual conversation as a part of generous friendship. Now, after today, I will have completed a video on all 4 spaces, and I'll put the links to the first 3 in the description below. Today, the porch, representing spiritual conversation, part of spiritual friendship. I think that all 4, in some form, combine to give my life depth, a richness, a texture, and joy. And when I find those traits missing, I can generally look to those 4 spaces to see what I have been neglecting. The quiet of the deck, of personal devotion, the dust and concentration of creative work, the raucous laughter and rubbing elbows of radical hospitality in the kitchen, or the quiet intimacy of conversation here on the porch. And I would like to suggest to you that I am not unique. That if I find life in these places, that you too might find life in your version of these 4 spaces. Now, I think there's a difference between spiritual conversation and just shooting the breeze, catching up, comparing my team with your team. Not that those aren't also important, and we should practice that as well. We will anyway. But I think spiritual conversation is a little different. I don't mean to get all teachery here, but I want to unpack a few principles of this sort of conversation, the sort of conversation that I am talking about, that is a source of life for me and maybe for you. The key, I think, is found in the word generous, which I put in front of generous conversation, generous friendship. I have to admit that before my midlife crash and burn, I was not always all that generous in particularly spiritual conversation. I tended to see spiritual conversation as an invitation to debate, and debate you I would. I was pretty opinionated. I knew the truth. And if your views, what you believe, differed from the truth, then it was my moral obligation to show you the error of your ways and to change you, to bring you into an embracing of the truth. As I knew it. Religious arrogance may be the worst kind of arrogance, and I had it in spades. But as I plummeted toward the ground in my 40s, I incrementally lost the moral high ground that, truth be known, wasn't really mine to command in the first place. And I became less confident of my unshakable rightness. Now, while this nosedive may not seem like a good thing, and it certainly didn't seem like a good thing at the time, it actually rendered me finally capable of generous spiritual conversation. So let me try to form this into 3 principles. In spiritual conversation, I attempt to listen without judgment, without silently formulating my rebuttal to what you're saying while you're still speaking, without internally noting the superiority of my tribe versus your tribe. In generous spiritual conversation, I just listen. I let you be you. I let you tell your story without seeing every conversation of a spiritual nature as an opportunity to press my point of view upon you. Secondly, in spiritual conversation, I listen compassionately, literally suffering with, co-compassion, to suffer with or to suffer together. I try to, as I listen, see what you're saying or listen to what you're saying from your perspective, from your point of view. How does your life, how does the situation you're talking about, how does it look from where you're sitting as opposed to from where I'm sitting? And that is sometimes a difficult shift if my primary objective in the conversation is somehow to change you, to make you aware of your error. Now, this was a difficult shift for me, to realize that there are multiple ways to look at practically everything. That the truth that I understood was really my point of view. What I had arrived at from my whole life's experience and the culture I grew up in. The German term that I learned for that in my theological training was Sitzenleben. Sitzenleben, basically life situation. And my Sitzenleben is different than yours. And so naturally, I'm going to see things differently than you see things, either a lot or maybe just a little. And so the challenge in generous spiritual conversation is to, for a moment, try to step into your Sitzenleben, to see things from your point of view. This has been transformative for me. If maybe a little bit controversial, I mean, if I'm pretty sure I'm right and I'm pretty sure you're wrong, then stepping into your life and seeing it from your angle, that might rock my boat. Finally, in spiritual conversation, I offer my opinion if you ask for it. I can listen to you and I can sympathize with your struggle, and I can with compassion suffer with you in it. And if you want to know, I can tell you what I think I do in the situation, all the while very humbly recognizing that I don't really know in the long view what's good or bad in your life. I don't know that maybe this struggle, this very struggle that I am suffering through with you, may be the thing that opens up a whole new season of your life that ultimately is profoundly good for you. And that's a humbling thing to realize, that I don't know a lot, but that in the context of spiritual conversation, I don't need to know all the answers. And since I don't anyway, that works out for the best. The old Celtic term for this was anam cara, spiritual friendship. It's a good thing. And we will talk more about this in future videos. Genuine spiritual conversation, a part of of generous friendship. It's life. It's life for me. Might be life for you. So, grab a cup of coffee, pull up a chair, and let's talk. What's going on with you? Well, I think that's enough for today. We'll see you next time. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and give. Okay, Petra, do you have your lines? Yeah, I'm ready. All right, and action. Hey, what's Petra doing out there? What are you guys doing? You guys are shooting a video. Wait a minute. I'm the Great Pyrenees dog in the video. What's Petra doing out there? Oh, man. Try to blow up pigs and you're blacklisted for life. It's not fair.